Hi, Bill White here. Okay, today I want to show you how to set up a VPS to run Moodle. This is just going to be a one account on it, one website. It's not for adding many virtual websites, but just a simple one. So let's begin. First thing we need to do is SSH in. Okay. Okay, some things that I have done previously, I had set up with my provider. I added my domain name so that when it comes time to adding the SSL encryption, everything will be there. Okay, so first off is now we need to set it up to do some simple things. So a couple things we're going to do are add a new user, make that user a sudo user. We're going to add the firewall. We're going to change the default port for SSH to a different port, just another layer of security. And then we'll start adding all the parts needed. So first off, we're going to add our user. Okay, so just simple add user and the name. Here you need to give your user a password. Try to make it as difficult as possible. For this sake, I'm just using a fairly simple one. Okay. Please make sure you use a strong one. This server will be destroyed once we're finished with this anyway. So then if you want, you can add this information. Okay, and then just verify it. Yep. Then once that's okay, now you want to make that user in the sudo. So you just use the user mod, and then now you should be able to log in as a sudo user. And just to make sure, we'll do a quick that, and it will ask you for your password. Type in your password. And once it's, there we go, sorry. And once that's doing that. So for the sudo password, if you are inactive for any length of time and the next time you run a sudo command, you will need to re-enter the password. But if you're continuous going, it shouldn't be a problem. Of course, you shouldn't leave yourself logged into any server for any length of time anyways, but it may occasionally ask you to put in your password. Okay. So I'm just doing a quick, simple update and upgrade to make sure everything is brand new for when we start installing. So while this is doing that, some things you want to do. Well, never mind. All right, so now we have done that. So the next part is we need to exit out of. Sorry, no, I forgot. We have to we have to install all these extra little add-ons that I like to add for administrative as well as setting up the firewall. Okay. So as I was going to say, please make sure you get your own domain name and set up the DNS for all that. Okay. And this should be done in seconds. Okay. Then after we have this set up, now we must exit out of the sudo user and go back to root to enable the new port for the SSH. Okay, so now we're there. And you can tell it says root and the color also changes, or it should. Maybe not on your terminal. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is move into our SSH folder directory, and then we're going to make a copy or a backup of the config file just in case something bad happens. Nice to do that. And then now we're going to make a copy. Now we're going to edit that, sorry. So next we edit with nano, okay. And you just go down to where it says port 22 and you delete that and put in the new port number you want. Make sure it's a higher number than, the higher the number the better, okay. That way you know it's not going to clash with any of the other ports that are needed for other system services. Then you save it with a Control S, or you can Control X and then hit Y. And then now we should be able to, let's see, I believe we should be able to exit out. Oh no, we need to restart, sorry. We need to restart the SSH server. And then we can exit out. And next we can log in with the username you added. I added Bill. But if I just do this without adding the port number, it's going to say connection refused. So I must add the P hyphen P, then the new port number. And then it's going to ask me for my password. And you can see I'm back in as Bill, and it's green. So, and just quickly do a quick one more time just to make sure. Never hurts to check your updates when you're setting up, because sometimes things change. Okay, so now the next part is we're going to install all the pieces for the web server. We're going to install our web server Nginx, then our PHP with the FPM and all the parts needed, and our database server, in this case, Maria. Okay. And then it will go through all of this. And then once we're done with this, all right, we'll have to restart all the services to make sure everything is running and enable them. Usually, some people don't, but I like to just make sure. So if you have to reboot, all services will start on a reboot. It's just one extra way of making sure everything's going to work the way you want it to. Okay, so now we have all of them set up. So let's enable them. So let's start them and stop them and enable them. Okay, and we'll go through all of these. Okay, and then, so now that part is done. So the next part is we're going to make a directory for you or for your web server location. I usually use the www file and then a name and then HTML. Some people like to put it wherever you want. If you know what you're doing, then you don't really need to be watching this, I'm sure. Okay. And then once we have that, we need to set ownership. Okay. So it will work for the web server, and it's under the web server's name. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to modify it, allow it to be written to by the web server, but not to the world necessarily. Okay. So now we have all that. Okay. And next, now that we have that, we're going to set up a dummy index page to make sure everything's running before we continue on to other parts. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, and then it's set up. So you can hit Control X, Y, and then enter. Okay, and that will do that. Okay, now we're going to move into our sites available directory so we can set up the configuration files so that the browser knows where to look. Okay, so once you're in there, you need to again make copies of things. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did that. Okay, so. Okay. Okay, so I'll make a then nope, sorry. Why are we I'm having a hard time with my coding today. Yeah, sorry about all these little errors, but okay. So anyways, we're going to now make a copy of it for the user bill or the website bill sensei. Okay. If you always want to check what's in there, you can always do a simple list all. That shows you I have all three files in there, so you can say I have mine, a default, and a default backup. Okay. Sorry. And then we're gonna go into the editing of the bill file. Okay. Okay, now here you have to change some things for it to work properly. Okay. Here you're going to change the default, or just delete that. Make sure. Oh, shiitake mushrooms. Okay. And this is why you make sure that you don't have a backup diet. Okay. Okay. And then same here. Okay. And then want to move down to the directory. Where is this one going to be? I just add bill with a slash. Okay. And then here, you'll be using PHP, so you're going to want to add the ability to have a PHP file. So index PHP. And then the server name. Now here, you should change this to your domain name. If you are going to use the www, you should also add that. Okay. And the next part is we're going to want to make sure we are enabling the PHP. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to delete these couple of lines here. Okay. And then the replacement code is here. Okay. And then once that's all done, I can save it. Okay. Alrighty, so then after that, we need to check to see if the configuration file is correct, if everything's okay. Yes, it says syntax is okay, so it's successful. That is good. Okay. Well, next, we're going to restart just to make sure. Okay. Okay, and then now we're going to link this so that the server knows to look for the configuration file so that they'll find that. Okay. Okay, next we're going to create a test file for the PHP. Okay. And then, okay, and then what was that? After that should be, oh no, sorry. Just did that one. Okay, now we're going to move into our sites enabled folder. Okay, make sure our linking worked. Okay, and you can see that you have bill and default. Okay, now one way to solve a lot of problems is these are links, so deleting anything here doesn't delete the original, it just deletes the link, and we're going to delete the link for the default. Okay. This way the server doesn't get confused. Okay. And that should be it. Let's just do a quick restart to make sure. And next we'll go to our web page browser. And if all is good, we should see, yes, okay. And then next I want to check the PHP. So, okay, oops. Bad spelling again, or typing skills, both. Okay, and everything is all set. And you can see that I have the FPM enabled. Okay, so that is good. All right, so now next part is going into, we are going to add the the encryption of SSL using Let's Encrypt. Okay, so first we go to install our certbot, and that's pretty easy. Okay, and once it's installed, we are ready to install our certificates for our domain name. Okay, so you can see, again, if you're not using the www, then you can just get rid of the -d www domain name. Okay, some people like it, some don't. And then it's going to ask you for an email address. I always like to make sure I'm typing properly. Then click enter, and then you have to agree to the terms of service, yes. And then I don't want their email. I'm already getting it, so I don't need another copy. Okay. And then it will go through. And if you set up your DNS properly with your hosting company, everything should be okay. And it tells you where everything is. And then now you can just go back to your browser. And if you hit a refresh, you can see that that is no longer with the thing. So now, and you can see it has the SSS. And the same, you should do the same for your www, get rid of the www, and then try. And if it's all is good, and it does not want to seem to be working. Sometimes DNS will take a while, but while that's doing that, it may time out for a bit. Don't worry, it is there because it's oh, and it took a while. That's all, but yeah, you can see it's there. Okay, so now that we have the encryption done, the next part is we're going to start. We're going to go into our folder, and then we're going to set up the database. Okay, first we're going to go to our web folder, and then we want to start up our database. So just do that, and then you want to do your coding for it. I already have it set up, but okay, and then edit, okay, and then you would do different things, okay. I'll look at the notes for this, okay. So now, after we've done, back up the HTML folder that we made originally, okay. Okay, so then once we have that, we're gonna, I think now we're gonna download our Moodle, and this will take a while, okay, and it's going to take a while, so I'll be back in a flash. Okay, so now Moodle has downloaded. Let's do the next part of, we have it in here if you want to see. Then now you can see we have Moodle. Now we're going to rename the Moodle excuse me, the Moodle folder to HTML so it works properly. Oops. Sorry. I'm having a hard time here today. Sorry. 30. Okay. And next. Okay, now we're going to make a Moodle data folder. so that we can store the data. That must be outside of your web access folder. That should be outside of your HTML folder. Even better would be before the build, but I'm just keeping it there as a rule. Okay, now we have that. Next, we need to, next we need to own folders and or change the ownership for the web and the add the directory. I can't talk today. Add the permissions for the Moodle directory so it will be completely writable. Okay, so first we're going to own the folders. Okay, change the ownership. That will change the ownership of both. And then we want to change the permissions for the Moodle data folder. Okay, and then you can check, and then you can see that here there's some folders to the data, and same here. Okay, and then here you can see that this one is all writable and it's green, so that means, but it's outside of the web access folder, so that should be okay. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so now, sorry, before we do that, we need to move into our HTML folder. Okay, then, nope. Why am I having a hard time? Okay, now we want to get the, or have it set up for the 3.1 or 3.11, which is the most stable one as of now. Okay, then we need to check it out. Okay. And it will go through that and it will say, okay, yep, you are all set. And then, of course, we're going to set up our cron job so that the cron will execute very often, so any changes will automatically be enabled there. Okay, when you set up a cron tab, it's going to ask you which one do you want to use for your text editor. I always use Nano, but you can use whatever you want. Okay, then you want to scroll to the very bottom. Okay, then, whoops, sorry, that's not it. That's the next one. Oops, command. Sorry about that. Okay, and this tells it to go every minute. Okay, and then once that's done, you can save that, and it tells you that it has installed. Now you want to edit your PHP file so that certain things will work the way you want it to. Some things you need to do is you use the Control W, okay, and one thing that you're going to see automatically is this max input vars. Okay, this is something that if you don't change it, it will show up as an error, and it will ask you to check it. It won't do anything right now, but just for the sake of it, it's just easier to save it now. Okay, and then last but not least, you want to restart everything, all your parts, and then if everything is correct, you should be able to just go here and it will ask you to start installing. Okay, so that is how you do it. Sorry for the errors. I hope this works for you. Please Follow the link to get the commands for you to do this. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.